I said. See you tomorrow.
A major escalation to stop the spread of the second wave. Tonight, Melbourne goes into lockdown. 1,000 police and soldiers move in to close the New South Wales border. A record 191 new COVID cases across Victoria. The state's premier warning it's life and death. A new round of economic pain. Forecast the shutdown will cause more job losses and shortages. Also tonight, a river tragedy. A teenage driver killed after losing control. A passenger saved by first responders. Arson attack. A Burwood shop gutted. Firebugs on the run. The $100 a day school holiday family getaway. And more punishment looms for a Manly star after more details emerge of referee abuse.
Live from Sydney, 7 News with Mark Ferguson.
Good evening all. Melbourne residents, nearly 5 million people are heading back into lockdown. The coronavirus crisis deepening there with almost 200 new cases reported. In just a few hours, New South Wales will shut off its border. 1,000 police and soldiers moving in, with authorities threatening to jail anyone coming here illegally.
The police force turned border force, bags packed and on the way to secure Fortress New South Wales.
We will make no apology for the fact that we have had to be agile.
It's one of the biggest peacetime operations in state history. 650 police to start and 350 defence personnel.
It is an enormous operation, an enormous task, nevertheless, that we will be ready to go.
Another contingent at Sydney Airport flying for Mildura, a thin blue line to seal a 1,000-kilometre border.
I can easily forecast the fact that we will probably see more troops on the ground.
Locking Victorians in as Victoria locked itself down. The entire metropolitan Melbourne area and Mitchell Shire to be ring-fenced from tomorrow night. Army roadblocks forming a hard boundary around the city.
Effective from midnight tomorrow night for a period of 6 weeks.
Restaurants and pubs closed again. Residents only allowed out for work, school and essentials.
We know we're on the cusp of something very, very bad if we don't take these steps today.
The lockdown announcement sparked panic as the last XPT pulled into Central this morning.
This way. Stop. This way. You need to go. Police.
This passenger tried to run, but was chased by police and taken for questioning. For many, a scramble to get home.
When I heard the news, I booked a flight as early as I possibly could.
Those coming from Melbourne were supposed to go straight into 2 weeks isolation, but...
It's pretty confusing out there.
They took my details. It was a bit of a tick and flick. There wasn't a lot of clarity.
At Ballina Airport, confusion too for tourists.
I don't want to go home. A lot of people can't get off the plane at the moment, so I'm not quite sure what's going to happen.
The rules are, from 1 minute past midnight tonight, no Victorian will be allowed across the border without a permit, and any returning New South Wales resident faces 2 weeks self-isolation. Exemptions will be available, though, online from tonight.
If you lived within the border bubble, if we call it that, then it will certainly be much easier to pass back and forth.
The government admits the cost of this operation will be extraordinary, and they're bristling at the fact that Victoria is contributing nothing, either in police numbers or funding. This is a New South Wales and Defence operation. The police minister here says they should be chipping in.
I would think that to be the decent thing to do.
Penalties for breaches include $11,000 or 6 months jail, with police pushing for new $1,000 on-the-spot fines as well.
If you want to do the wrong thing, you will be caught.
Sarah Josephine Liberty was the social media blogger fined for escaping hotel quarantine on Saturday.
I was under extreme duress. I was feeling very distressed. All I wanted was to walk and get fresh air.
Let's go live to Chris Reason at Sydney Airport this evening. Chris, the last flights from Melbourne arrive in the next few hours.
Yeah, good evening to you, Mark. That's right, as the last residents return here before the border blitz begins from midnight, with the government warning that these new restrictions will be in place for weeks, not days, and they are asking for our patience, saying particularly in the first 72 hours there will be scenes of anger and frustration as people get used to these new restrictions and they are bedded down. The data behind today's new Melbourne lockdown: 191 new cases of coronavirus. That's a record jump. Authorities there certainly concerned. The Premier Daniel Andrews today warning that thousands will die if it gets away from them. Mark.
Some warning. Chris Reason at Sydney Airport. Thank you. Down on the border, the state government is warning residents there'll be upset and days of confusion. Adding to the anger, essential travel permits still can't be accessed online as promised, forcing locals into frustrating queues.
The line at the Service New South Wales Centre in Albury this morning was out the door. People queuing to get a permit to ensure they're not shown the door.
I don't know what we've got to do, as far as getting permits and stuff like that.
Kerry Bowman runs a business. He lives in Wodonga but works in Albury. He's one of many locals facing the same issue.
We just have to suck it up.
As the Army began its move into town and emergency services started getting into position, the Police Minister gave locals this warning.
The next 72 hours, people are going to be confused, communities are going to be upset, local businesses are going to be interrupted.
As of midnight tonight, the only way you can cross the border into New South Wales is with an acceptable exemption or with a permit. The government assured people yesterday they would be available online. This was the Service New South Wales website 12 hours ago. Nothing. At 9 this morning, still nothing. Lunchtime, zilch. This evening, still unavailable.
There's no, obviously, clarity on how the border's going to work.
There are 6 key crossings spread across 5 towns, 2 in Albury, with others in Moama, Tottenham Wall, Boronga and Timbilika. There are 49 other crossings, including 20 dirt tracks. It's nearly dark here in Albury and I'm standing at what will be the major checkpoint. It's quiet now, but it'll be a different story tomorrow morning. All the trucks will stay on the Hume Highway, all the cars will be diverted to this causeway and police will be checking every vehicle.
This is going to affect the travel of my staff because I have staff and clients living and working on both sides of the border. 2 Albury locals tested positive to COVID-19 just yesterday. Authorities weren't taking any chances, setting up a pop-up clinic today. The testing numbers were high.
And Peter Ferguson is on the Victorian border for us tonight. Peter, are those exemption permits available yet?
Well, Mark, as we go to air tonight, still nothing available on the Service New South Wales website, but police have assured us that when the border does close at midnight tonight, residents will be allowed to cross without those permits, but they'll need an acceptable excuse. For example, a medical emergency or a late night shift that's just finished, or if they have an address nearby. But those permits won't last forever. They will need to, those exemptions won't last forever. They will need to get a permit, and that can be done in person or on the website whenever they become available, Mark.
OK, Peter Ferguson in Albury for us, thank you. Let's go to reporter Tegan Doling now over the border in Wodonga. Tegan, plenty of anxiety where you are, but also some relief on that side.
Yeah, Mark, it's been awful. There is a lot of anxiety, like you said, because locals are waking up tomorrow not really knowing what life is going to be like for them, but there is a little bit of a relief after the Victorian Premier, Daniel Andrews, announced today's ongoing lockdowns. Luckily, this area, this northeast area, won't be going into lockdown, so that bit of relief knowing that they can still move around freely. What they do know, though, Mark, is that it's going to be a very long and tedious journey for them, even if they only have to travel a couple of kilometres.
It sure will be. Tegan, thank you. Residents in smaller communities along the Murray without a major border crossing are facing perhaps the most inconvenience. Forced to drive up to an hour just to get to work and school, some still not knowing if they'll be able to show up tomorrow.
Brian Hoare has lived in the New South Wales border town of Mulwala his entire life. At midnight, his 3 children will be stuck in Victoria, unable to visit him.
It's pretty hard to sort of think that we should be able to use both towns.
The small township borders with Yarrawonga, a village with 8,000 people, including Val Miller, who crosses the border each day to manage the local supermarket.
I live in Yarrawonga and I haven't got a permit yet, so I don't even know if I'm coming to work tomorrow.
I think it would be great if there was a bubble so that we could just go freely across one backwards and forwards.
We'll be very sad, but it is what it is. You know, we've been locked down once before. We'll be back in lockdown again. It's 6 weeks, and it is what it is.
Further down the Murray, in the tiny community of Bellbridge, the border closure is not welcome.
We're all up in the air to know what's going to happen. No one's been told anything or explained anything.
From my window, I can see New South Wales across there, and I do work in New South Wales.
Instead of a quick 20-minute drive to Albury, they'll now be forced to take the long way around to Wodonga, 1 hour and 15 minutes.
They should have really thought of this a lot better.
It'll be residents in these smaller border towns that even with a permit may find it difficult to move back and forth. Of course, police are urging these approved residents to go to these 6 major crossing points, but some of those are up to an hour away. There are some smaller checkpoints much closer, Mark, but residents are being warned that there could be major delays.
Yeah, it's going to be a tough few days. Natasha, thank you. There's increasing desperation in the Melbourne Housing Commission towers, where 3,000 residents remain locked in for a 4th night. The mother of a new baby born prematurely can't visit her daughter who's sick in hospital, one of the many situations sparking anger.
Flashpoint outside locked down towers as police move in on protesters.
Bring them out of that building, because if I can't go in, they can't go in. I want to see my son.
4 arrests after they gathered to support the 3,000 residents trapped inside.
Stop, 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 stop. You're holding her head down. Let her go.
Day 3 and health services workers continued testing in the infected high-rise towers in North Melbourne and Flemington. So far, it's 69 positive. Hannah Mohammed is trapped inside. Her daughter, Hannon, born prematurely, is still in hospital and now out of reach.
Because I've been locked down, I am not able to see my daughter. And also I'm not able to give her my milk.
She says police won't let her leave despite disturbing news from the hospital.
They say your daughter, she's been sick and she just running nose and cough, and we do the COVID test for her. I really want to see my daughter, especially now she's sick.
As children watched the free world, supplies were taken inside with strict precautions. Firefighters among those helping deliver food door to door, and donations continue to arrive. Major supermarkets contributed by the truckload. At Muslim Social Services, a warehouse is filled with groceries. Government red tape delaying its distribution. Paul Dowsley, 7 News.
Many thousands of businesses are now bracing for a new round of economic pain as the border closure disrupts their operations. Federal Labor is now calling on the Morrison government to extend its assistance beyond September to take the new restrictions into account.
They're 3 hours north from the Victorian border. But at the Yass truck stop on the Hume, drivers are talking about what closure means.
We've got about 14 trucks and we're up and back every day. Welcome to Victoria.
Most expect police will wave them through.
No, we're not going to stop the check at all.
Some worry about traffic snarls.
Essential services have got to get through and the general public can't congest up the borders.
Supermarket giant Coles insists there will be no shortages on either side of the Murray.
We do what we need to.
But says it has learned the lessons of the pandemic.
If we have to reintroduce restrictions as a last resort, then we will need to do so.
On the border's eastern edge, this New South Wales caravan park operator.
Not again, that's all I felt. Here we go again.
Saw off the fires and the first virus shutdown.
This whole area needs people back to help survive.
In 16 days, the government will make clear its plan for the JobKeeper subsidy. Labor says the border closure makes keeping the assistance all the more important.
He can better target JobKeeper, he can taper it, but he shouldn't just be turning off the tap.
North of the border, they now notice Victorian number plates, so Paul Kelly drives with his postcode on his windscreen. So people can be confident it's not a COVID postcode.
Yeah, no, exactly. That's the reason why, yeah.
As he heads for the border before it closes. Tim Lester, 7 News.
There's been nervous trading on the local share market with that economic disruption in store. Finance editor Gemma Acton joins me now. Gemma, how did investors fare today?
Well, Mark, it's been a rocky day for Aussie shares. They were heading higher early afternoon after the Reserve Bank kept rates on hold, but then they started to fall just as news of a further tightening of restrictions in Victoria began to break. The ASX 200 ended up losing all of its gains for the day, down by 2 points. Among the worst hit was shopping centre owners, including Westfield operator Scentre Group, that was down more than 4%, and Vicinity Centres down almost 5%. One company not moving today was Afterpay. Shares in the buy now, pay later giant soared from $8 in March to $70 this month. But today they were in a trading halt. This after it was announced Afterpay's co-founders would sell $250 million of their own shares and raise a further $800 million to grow the business overseas. Mark.
OK, Gemma, thank you. The aviation industry's prolonged pain is only getting worse today. The first of the Qantas A380s landed in the Californian desert, one of 10 being mothballed in Victorville, an hour and a half from Los Angeles. Qantas chose the location because of the low humidity and says engineers will maintain the aircraft during their desert stay. That could last as long as 3 years as the industry suffers through the pandemic and future recovery. The final 2 in the A380 fleet of 12 will remain at LAX. A teenage driver has died after her car plunged into a river at Ballina on the north coast this morning. Another female who was a passenger scrambled free, but the driver was trapped and could not be saved despite some heroic efforts.
Police divers prepare for the grimmest of tasks, fishing a car from the depths of the Richmond River at Ballina. In the driver's seat, the body of a 17-year-old girl who was trapped and tragically killed.
It'll shake a lot of people, it'll affect a lot of people, including all the emergency services that here have actually tried to get that driver out.
They, along with other witnesses, spotted the car career off the road into the river this morning and ran after it. The female front seat passenger managed to get out just before it sank, 6 metres.
Unharmed, yeah. Shaken, but remarkably well.
Investigators believe the teenage driver lost control on a bend around the river, but the quick-thinking witnesses and 3 police officers who went in after the vehicle will be nominated for bravery awards. It's understood there was another car following closely behind.
And obviously we'll encourage that vehicle to, or the driver or anyone that saw the accident, to contact Crime Stoppers.
Serena Andeloro, 7 News.
The hunt is on for at least 2 arsonists who rammed a car into a barber shop in Burwood before setting the building on fire. The flames exploded through the ceiling, damaging neighbouring businesses. Workers say they have no idea why they were targeted.
1:30 this morning.
Damn, it is a barber shop.
And a business is set ablaze. Flames rip through Fade's Barbers on George Street. Firefighters were there in minutes, but everything was destroyed.
They were going through the ceiling to the 2nd floor, and a lot of smoke. It's definitely arson.
Security cameras captured 2 cars arriving, one reversing through the front door before a man runs in and starts the fire.
A fire that is so intense so quickly, my concern was that it was going to spread to the shops either side.
Any act of this violent nature is extremely serious and concerning.
The popular barber shop changed hands recently. The owner today interviewed by detectives trying to find a motive.
Gutted, I caught him this morning, he's speechless. I don't know who would do this,
Investigators brought in sniffer dogs, finding large amounts of accelerant poured inside. Firefighters say it's incredibly lucky the damage here wasn't worse. Similar blazes fed by fuel have ended in deadly explosions, with buildings collapsed.
Really fortunate that nobody was living above there, as often happens with shops.
The getaway cars are grey or silver sedans. They took off in opposite directions.
We're appealing for anyone with dash cam or that was in the vicinity at the time to come forward.
Andrew Denny, 7 News.
There's new and growing tension in Gladys Berejiklian's cabinet after a senior minister unleashed on one of his own colleagues. Police boss David Elliott has accused Roads Minister Andrew Constance of letting down his community over a promised upgrade.
All levels of government, all Liberals, united against their own state governments in action.
The Premier is well aware that I'm beside myself.
Local, state and federal members furious that the Memorial Avenue upgrade in Kellyville is yet to begin.
We've got people here, but we don't have the road. And if we don't do it, you're going to see more deaths on this road.
David Elliott joined the Premier 18 months ago pre-election to promise construction would start last year.
We know how frustrating it is for local residents.
Mr Elliott blaming his cabinet colleague Andrew Constance for the lack of progress.
I would call upon the Transport Minister to get on with it. We can't continue to have Andrew Constance dwiddle over this.
If Constance had come in on budget on one other project, he could have fast-tracked the upgrade of this road by now.
Minister Constance declined to comment today but has slapped down Minister Elliott in the past, including over funding for emergency services.
He's responsible. I think he should be focused on that stuff.
Mr Elliott says this isn't personal, it's about the people.
Andrew Constance has let us down.
The upgrade was first proposed almost a decade ago. Some money was allocated in last year's budget, and we're told construction contracts will be awarded within weeks, but completion
is still 3 years away.
We know how important this road is to the community and Transport is very committed to delivering it.
Alex Hart, 7 News.
Time now for a check on our weather. Here's Branny.
Yeah, thanks very much, Fergo. Well, the odd shower is passing through as we go to air. In fact, it's been a very cold day, hasn't it? In fact, at the moment, it's sitting on 15 degrees. As we go to the radar, we're now tracking some isolated showers. They've been sailing in from the south. They're affecting our coastal suburbs at the moment. The showers will push further inland over the next hour or two. Not a lot of rain, just a millimetre or two before they gradually clear later this evening. For the state, well, it's been a dry day just about everywhere. Of course, we can see that front pushing slowly north of those showers, clipping central and southern parts of the coast. But look, in the longer term, we're expecting pressure to fall off the north coast early next week, leading to this, our first big east coast low for the season. Of course, that means lots of rain to the north. In fact, we might see some reasonable falls in our neck of the woods as well early next week. But at the moment, temperature-wise, 13 degrees in Cronulla, Penrith sitting on 12. Detailed local forecast, top of the hour, Fergo.
See you then, David. Thank you. Next, exclusive details about a Western Sydney murder linked to gangs, why the accused killer's mate lashed out at court. Plus, the driver who left a path of destruction with an ironic twist. Protest violence, the frightening moment a driver mowed down a crowd on a US street. Later, school holiday getaways for under $100 a day. We'll show you where. And in sport, is Benji back? The latest team news, plus why the Tigers say their band star has learned his lesson.
G'day, I'm Alex. I am 110% ready to fall in love.
I'm ready. I could definitely fall in love with Alex. No one's ever done something like this for me. I don't want to watch someone fall in love in front of me.
I've bitten off a bit more than what I can chew.
I think this farmer is one step closer to finding his wife.
New Farmer Wants a Wife, this July on 7.
Experience the delicious intensity of Lindt excellence by the Lindt Master Chocolatier.
At Priceline Pharmacy, we know everyone's different. That's why we're here with advice on everything you need to protect your family's immunity, treat symptoms head-on and recover to full health. Shop in-store or online and live winter well with Priceline Pharmacy.
Head to Macca's if a little treat is what you need and get 6 of our new delicious donut balls for just $3 or 18 chicken McNuggets and 2 large fries for $9.95.
So what cash flow boost is available for my business?
What are the tax rules around job seeker payments?
We've all got tax questions this year. Thankfully at H&R Block we have the answers.
Let's get you started.
Maximise your tax refund. Book an appointment today.
Because sometimes it's more than just growing pains. Bupa offers an online program to help you manage your mental well-being. Bupa, because life happens. Call today.
A lot has changed in 15 years, but our low admin fees haven't. Add our strong long-term returns, and that equals more super for you. Host Plus. Wherever life takes you, we go with you.
The problem with stubble? Irritation and itchiness. New Nivea Men Sensitive Skin and Stubble Balm. Instant relief from irritation and beard itch. From the Nivea Men Sensitive range. Nivea Men. It starts with you.
And there is only one...
I'm alive. Just kidding. I'm dead inside, emotionally. But that's neither here nor there. There's still only one cure for hungry, thirsty, and that's Oak. With its full strength and full taste, it's full on. Oak doesn't just hit the spot, it slides into the spot's DMs and leaves an inappropriate emoji. Oak kills hungry, thirsty dead, then negotiates the rights to a Netflix doco about the murder. But what would I know about hungry, thirsty? I'm a teddy bear. I only drink Oak because I like the taste. Oh, Oak. Kill hungry, thirsty dead.
The Rebel sale is on. Save 25% on a huge range of men's, women's and kids' fleece. And take up to 50% off a huge range of footwear. Loads more deals. Shop in store and at rebelsport.com. The Rebel sale is on. Sport is calling.
Tasty, affordable and delicious. What's for dinner in the next break with Coles?
Welcome back. A driver's been arrested after crashing into traffic lights on Pennant Hills Road at Carlingford early today. The Ford Focus knocked down the pole near the corner of Carlingford Road, ironically one that had a traffic camera attached to it. The 25-year-old driver passed a breath test but was taken to hospital for further checks. The State Coroner has released a trove of police documents and videos surrounding William Tyrrell's disappearance. They include a photograph that shows for the first time the white spider on the back of the Spider-Man outfit worn by William in 2014. The statements include a police note that William's foster father ignored advice to stay home during the initial search. There's no suggestion the foster parents were involved in William's abduction. A 28-year-old man linked to the notorious Brothers for Life gang has been charged over a brutal killing in Wentworthville last week. Mohammed Zarshoy faced Parramatta Court today after handing himself in to police. Tonight we can reveal he'd allegedly gone to the victim's home to buy a gun.
Supporters of an accused killer, but not fans of the media.
Mate, are you glad this ended peacefully? I presume you don't care about peace.
That was not a peace sign he was flashing either.
Are you glad this didn't end worse? Excuse me, do you mind? Huh?
Mohammed Zarshoy turned himself in after a statewide manhunt. Family convinced him. Zarshoy is accused of shooting Robert Atkinson in the leg at his Wentworthville home. The bullet severed his artery. 7 News understands Zarshoy was allegedly there to buy a gun.
All I can simply say is that he maintains his innocence, and other than that, the matter is currently before the courts and it's inappropriate for me to make any further comment.
Mohammed Zarshoy was acquitted over the 2013 murder of Mahmoud Hamzi, which was ordered by fearsome Brothers for Life enforcer Fahad Kaoumi. That was on behalf of gang leader Bassem Hamzi. The victim was his own cousin.
Zarshoy sought to have his name suppressed in court today, arguing the public reporting of that acquittal jeopardises his chances of a fair trial now. The magistrate, however, disagreed, citing the underlying principle of our court system, open justice. Robert Ovadia, 7 News.
A driver has rammed through protesters, with 2 of them seen gripping onto his moving car. The rally in the US state of Indiana was coming to an end when the driver accelerated. The 2 protesters are believed to be injured. The crowd had gathered to protest this video, a 4th of July attack, where a man claims he was threatened with a noose by a group of men. That incident is under investigation. If you don't know the name, you still probably know the song.
The devil went down to Georgia, he was looking for a soul to steal. He was in a bangs, he was way behind, and he was willing to make a deal.
Charlie Daniels is the singer-songwriter, a Country Music Hall of Fame inductee who died today at the age of 83. He often performed for troops in the Middle East, once saying he'd play anywhere with a good crowd. His publicist confirmed he passed away after suffering a stroke in hospital. A nursing home assistant has been found not guilty of assaulting an elderly resident. Next, hear her reason for tying the patient to a chair with a plastic bag. Plus, secrets to spill, is time running out for Prince Andrew? Surfers have a very close encounter at Bronte Beach. And home is where the hound is, a pensioner's battle to keep his best mate close.
What is going on here?
With only 7 of you left, I thought you deserved something special.
Oh boy.
They're all in for an almighty fall. A romance could fall apart. And best mates.
I love you and I hate you so much.
Could have a falling out. No! Ready to pounce. Cool. Is the last one.
I'll think about it.
Anyone suspects.
They've completely underestimated me. This is my game.
New Big Brother, tonight, 7:30 on 7.
Hi guys, Dan and Steph back with you again, thanks to Coles. What's for dinner tonight in our household is a beautiful hearty beef stew with herb dumplings. Now, this is gonna feed the whole family for under 20 bucks, so let's make it happen.
Right, the first step with this one, guys, very simple. We're gonna cut up our gravy beef. So we've got the beautiful Australian gravy beef. So this one is Great value for money, and we're going to dice this up, we're going to coat it in flour, and we're going to fry it off. So we're going to get those nice flavours happening already for this beautiful gravy beef stew. So while Steph's frying off the beef, guys, I'm just going to chop up our onion and garlic, get that ready because that's next to go in. We've mixed it up today. I noticed that Coles do these wonderful soup packs. We've got the parsnips, we've got the carrots, we've got the celery, we've got the onions, we've got the turnips, and we've got a potato. Hear that nice sizzle, guys? So now we're going to deglaze the pan with our beef stock and get all that beautiful flavour off the bottom of the pan. Next step, we add our tomato paste, good couple of tablespoons, good slug of our balsamic vinegar. You can see we've got a nice gravy going at the moment. We're now going to add all our veggies.
We're almost there with the stew. It's about to go in the oven, but we're going to pack it for more flavour. We have a bunch of parsley. We're going to use the roots into the stew and the leaves for the herb dumplings later. And we have some thyme as well.
So our stew is ready to go in the oven now. We're going to put it in for 2.5 hours at 150 degrees. And then we're going to crack on with our dumplings. So we're on to our dumplings, guys. This step's very easy. We're going to add 300 grams of flour. We're going to add salt, pepper, our fresh herbs and all our wet ingredients, and we're going to mix them up until the right consistency for a dumpling. You want it to be a little bit sticky and not too firm. We just want to add a little bit of water to bring that consistency together for us.
Okay, so it's been 2.5 hours and our hearty beef stew has been cooking away in the oven.
Smells delicious. You've got the little bit of balsamic coming through. We've got all those beautiful root veggies. So what we're going to do now is we're going to get our dumplings in. The stickier it is, the lighter, the fluffier the dumplings will be. And we just want to get it golf ball size, and you don't want to play around with too much, but then we just want to plonk that in. Easy as that, guys. So we've got our dumplings in there, lid back on, in the oven, another half an hour.
Our hearty beef stew is coming out of the oven.
Scoop it out into a big bowl, absolutely delicious, perfect for winter. And don't forget, guys, under $5 a serve. So get into Coles, get all your ingredients and get cooking.
Welcome back. An assault charge against a nursing home assistant has been dismissed after she told a Sydney court she tied a resident to a shower chair to stop her falling. Her lawyer likened what she did to the TV character MacGyver, using whatever was at hand to find a solution.
An assistant nurse for 30 years, her career over in less than 5 minutes. Chan Chow Arukanathan admitted to tying Celeste Rodriguez to a chair, but to protect the resident from herself. I panicked. I thought she might fall sideways. I think I did the best to save her from falling from the chair. It happened at the Mark Moran nursing home at Little Bay. Ms Rodriguez, who has since passed away, was interviewed the next day.
Too much pain.
Too much pain, yeah. Okay.
Normally 2 nurses are required to wash Miss Rodriguez, but Chan Chow Arukanathan was left alone. The resident started slipping. Miss Arukanathan then used a plastic bag after no one responded to her calls for assistance.
I said, "No touch, no touch."
MacGyver used materials available to him to prevent further troubles, her lawyer said. My client was doing what she could to prevent further injuries. That would have been more serious than the bruise left on her kneecap. What was she meant to do, the magistrate said when dismissing the charges. She didn't have the benefit of cold, clear hindsight.
This is a win for nurses today.
Shortly after Chan Chow Arukanathan was sacked, changes were made at the nursing home, including that Celeste Rodriguez be provided with a new chair and that she be showered by 2 nurses at a time.
She's just a humble nurse who wants to get on with her life and hopefully get a job back.
Leonie Ryan, 7 News.
Former federal MP Dr Karen Phelps says she won't be intimidated by whoever sent a dead rat to her medical clinic in Double Bay yesterday. Police were called after an Australia Post worker arrived with a package that had a disgusting smell.
It is just a disgusting act in the middle of a COVID pandemic to threaten a clinic and a clinical space like this.
The Bondi detectives are investigating. She's accused of being the chief enabler of billionaire pedophile Jeffrey Epstein. Now some very powerful people are waiting to see what secrets Ghislaine Maxwell will spill. She's been transferred to a New York jail and is due to face court next week after her hideout was discovered by police.
From red carpets and royal tours to this, a Brooklyn prison tonight home for Ghislaine Maxwell.
She knows she was in trouble.
Close friend Laura Goldman says she spoke to Ghislaine just 3 weeks ago.
I believe that she's also a victim of Jeffrey Epstein. I believe that she couldn't get away from him. I believe that, she tried. He threatened her.
Goldman says she met Prince Andrew at Ghislaine's London home, where it's claimed the prince raped a then 17-year-old girl.
Ghislaine woke me up in the morning and said, "You're going to meet a prince today."
Allegations he's continually denied.
Will she implicate Prince Andrew? I would say hell would have to freeze over. But she is facing 35 years in jail, so maybe hell has frozen over.
The socialite is accused of recruiting underage girls for Epstein to abuse. Unconfirmed claims today she has secret copies of videos which could expose powerful people. New details too about Epstein's murky past. A model's come forward today claiming she was sexually assaulted by him at this Santa Monica hotel. She claims police didn't act on her complaint, filed back in 1997.
I thought I was going to a legitimate audition for Victoria's Secrets.
Her lawyer again pressuring Prince Andrew to talk to the FBI.
Does he need a gold-plated invitation delivered by footmen who bow or curtsy to him in order to sit there with prosecutors?
In the United States, Ashley Mullaney, 7 News.
A shark has been spotted swimming dangerously close to surfers off one of Sydney's most popular beaches. Here you can see the predator within metres of the board riders off Bronte while hunting a school of bait fish. 3 of the surfers quickly jump on the next wave in, but one waits, seemingly clueless to the danger lurking below. Fortunately, the shark left him alone. A Sydney pensioner is pleading to keep his pet Pooch after his apartment managers changed the bylaws to ban dogs. He only moved in because pets were allowed. Now his supporters are promising a real dog fight.
83-year-old Colin Marshall spends his days with his best mate Boo.
The only time we're not together is if I have to go to somewhere like the doctor's.
Colin and his greyhound moved into a new apartment in November. He was told pets were allowed.
We got the proper approval based on the strata laws at the time. Then this year, he gets a letter saying that the dog doesn't comply and they've changed the rules on him. Just not fair.
I just feel disgusted. There's other things that are much more important around.
Richard Buttrose, nephew of Ita, has commenced legal action on Colin's behalf.
It's unfair. I don't know why they're bullying him, and the law's on his side.
The Tenants' Union has been pushing for changes to laws surrounding pet owners in apartments for at least a decade. It's hoped that this case will finally make the government take action.
We have a system that really makes it very difficult for people to rent with pets. Despite there being very little evidence that pet owners cause any more damage than anyone else.
Why pick on an elderly man with a greyhound? Life doesn't work that way.
Samantha Brett, 7 News.
A driver's given police a very good excuse for speeding down a highway. Next, how he fought off a deadly snake behind the wheel. Later, great escape, the school holiday getaways that won't break the bank. Farewelling a master, we remember composer Ennio Morricone's iconic movie scores.
Soon in sport, Penrith's all-singing, all-dancing hitman has a chilling warning to the rest of the competition.
Clearing shower or two this evening, a foggy start tomorrow. Your weather soon.
Heidi, nobody can understand you with that accent.
Welcome to your new family.
I couldn't think. I wanted to get up and dance.
You ain't seen nothing yet.
Does your mother know you do this?
New America's Got Talent, Wednesday on 7.
Hyaluronic acid. There's a reason dermatologists love it.
L'Oréal Paris introduces a powerful new serum, the new Revitalift Filler Hyaluronic Acid Serum. Our highest concentration of hyaluronic acid deeply hydrates, smooths the skin surface and replumps lines from within. In 6 weeks, wrinkles are visibly reduced by 47%.
Now we're talking.
The new Revitalift Filler Hyaluronic Acid Serum from Australia's #1 anti-aging skincare brand, L'Oréal Paris.
Well worth it.
When life gives you kiddiness, Godfrey's gives you cleanliness. Hoover Robot Vacuum, $499. Save $100. Award-winning Wurtime Evolution Stick Vacuum, $799. Godfrey's Cleanliness.
Colossal Mascara from Maybelline, New York. Lashes go 100% colossal instantly. Colossal Collagen Mega Brush. 100% colossal volume, nothing less. No one does mascara like Maybelline, New York.
Okay, sweet.
Oh, hi, sweetie.
Hi, Mum.
Mars. Enough chocolate to deal with anything.
Oh, it's very good.
At Rest, we're always working to protect your super. We keep our fees low so more of your money stays where it belongs, in your super. It's part of our commitment to you.
Wherever you go, whatever you do, the Honda HR-V will keep you connected, entertained and on track. With Apple CarPlay and Android Auto, now is standard across the range. The Honda HR-V, as different as the people who drive it.
What's better than bacon? More bacon. Hungry Jack's Baconator Deluxe. 4 rashers of premium bacon and 2 flame grilled beef patties. The Baconator Deluxe from Hungry Jack's. Available on Uber Eats, menu log and the Hungry Jack's app. The burgers are better.
Unlike ordinary toothpaste, Colgate Total's breakthrough formula actively fights bacteria for 12 hours, keeping your whole mouth healthy. Colgate Total. Be totally ready for life.
As we reported earlier, the ASX 200 closed flat this afternoon after losing most of the gains from earlier in the day. News of the Melbourne lockdown sent plenty of Aussie stocks plummeting. Sydney airport shares dropped almost 3%. Our dollar is buying 69.45 US cents. The price of unleaded is still falling across Sydney, averaging around $1.10 a litre tonight. There's plenty still under $1 though, including 98.7 cents a litre at Padstow and 99.5 at South Granville. The first 2 of Sydney's 17 new Waratah Series 2 trains has arrived at the Port of Newcastle. The Chinese-made double-deckers are part of a $900 million order that will expand our new Waratah fleet to 41 carriages. These feature air conditioning, high-definition information screens and security cameras inside and out. A non-invasive fertility test could soon be available for women with just a strand of hair needed to see if they can fall pregnant. European researchers say the hair can now be used to find out how many eggs a woman has. Right now, most fertility tests rely on blood samples. This new method has been successfully trialled on more than 150 women. The legendary composer behind some of the world's most famous film scores has died. Ennio Morricone was considered a master of cinema. Many moviegoers will long remember the sounds he created. Ennio Morricone was 91. A driver's had the fright of his life fighting off a brown snake while heading down a Queensland highway. Intercepted by police for speeding, he managed to wriggle his way out of a fine.
Pleading his case on the side of the road,
I think it's bitten me. It was in the car with me.
a 27-year-old man known only as Jimmy is in a slippery situation, caught driving at 123 kilometres an hour on the Dawson Highway.
You can feel my heart, mate.
You found a snake in your car?
There was a brown, it's in the back of the tray, mate.
At first, the police officer is sceptical.
Oh, that one.
The deadly eastern brown laid out on the tray of the ute.
And I just started to brake, and the more I moved my legs, the more, because it's pretty big, it started to wrap around me, and then its head just started striking at the chair.
Jimmy told police he used a seatbelt and a work knife to fight off the snake. Believing he'd been bitten, he was on his way to hospital.
Yeah, that's right. He's got the snake in the tray. He's pretty panicky. He's conscious and breathing at the moment, but need QAS here immediately if we can.
Paramedics confirmed he was suffering shock but wasn't bitten.
Yeah, it was pretty bloody terrifying. I'm not going to lie.
No, I would be too.
I've never been so happy to see red and blue lights.
Jimmy wasn't fined. Isabel Mullen, 7 News.
A school holiday getaway for the entire family for under $100 a day. How Aussie families are taking great escapes without breaking the bank. Don't miss that story soon on 7 News. But now Mel is here with Sport, and Mel, the NRL admits that they failed in the Adam Finau-Blake case.
Fergo, revelations of more referee abuse have emerged and Peter V'landys is furious. We'll hear from the Commission chairman next. Plus, the Knights legend and league immortal plotting the downfall of his former club with the blue and gold of Parramatta. And we'll get the special one's special take on his Tottenham players' heated halftime bust-up.
As the sun goes down, see what else is going down in Bangkok.
We have to arrest him.
There's big trouble and our cameras catch it all.
No, it's legal. Of course it's illegal. Welcome to Thailand.
The new series, Busted in Bangkok, Wednesday on 7.
Thanks to Light and Easy, Australians of all ages can enjoy their choice of delicious, nutritious meals in the comfort and safety of their home. And now, Light and Easy is also giving every customer 10 chances to win $10,000. If you or someone close to you could benefit from improved health and financial well-being, visit lightandeasy.com.au today.
If you're thinking of cancelling with another car insurer, or you're an existing NRMA insurance customer, you can now get third-party fire and theft cover for just $10 a month.
Aldi's tender porterhouse steak is so tender, you can cut it with a butter knife. Made of butter. Now only $19.99 per kilo at Aldi. Good. Different.
There's a glass and a half in everyone.
Oh, it's so cold.
Don't miss the game. Grab some Hot Hands.
Just open the pack and Hot Hands heat up fast with air activation to keep you warm for up to 10 hours. Hot Hands warms up the cold days.
Sometimes you want to go where everybody knows your name. You want to be where everybody knows your name.
Thanks for calling ING. This is Adam speaking. How can I help you? No, I'm currently working from home.
Oh, you can call anytime, so...
Sorry. And she's currently nibbling at my toe right now.
Yeah, working from home was a bit tricky at first, but...
There's definitely been some stray farts, hasn't there, mate?
And now your loan's on a fixed rate. Can I help you with anything else?
No, you made my day.
Well, whatever 2020 throws at you, we're here for a chat anytime.
Too easy.
Thanks to Light and Easy, Australians of all ages can enjoy delicious, nutritious meals in the comfort and safety of their home. We're also giving every customer 10 chances to win $10,000. Find out how. Visit lightandeasy.com.au today.
Just keep winning.
Prepare yourself for Cats and Lions. An unpredictable Thursday night footy on 7 Mate.
Welcome back. NRL bosses are figuring out how to take further action against Manly prop Adam Finau-Blake after a second referee slur was revealed today. Chairman Peter V'landys admits the lenient 2-game ban was a mistake.
We'd already seen Adam Finau-Blake's on-field outburst.
What's going on? You've been sent off. Call me an effing then, so he can go. It's not too far.
Before today's revelation of a second foul slur at referees in the Brookvale Oval Tunnel.
The last thing we want is to see young kids being teased because they've got a disability, because we will not tolerate this type of behaviour.
The independent match review committee knew about both incidents but allowed Finau-Blake to accept a 2-game ban, so league bosses stepped in to take further action.
You learn from mistakes, and we will look at the whole way this was handled, because it was a fail in some regards.
Yeah, I'd like to think that'll be the last and only time an NRL player ever does that again.
Joey Leilua's already learned his lesson for the 4-game cheap shot on Dylan Edwards.
Be doing 4 weeks of fitness now, so yeah, I think he probably won't do it again.
Leilua brought out the wild side of Panthers giant Viliami Kikau.
I really enjoyed that. So a little bit of biff there.
From leading Fijian hymn, we knew Kikau could sing. Now we know Big Billy can dance too.
I'm not actually that good in those two areas. I wouldn't say I'm the best dancer. Those dance moves were actually ugly, to be honest.
Rugby League's ultimate triple threat. Panthers fans just want to see him get the ball more. Sharks beware. Kickout says that'll happen this week. Matt Carmichael, 7 News.
Benji Marshall faces a 5th game on the outer at the Tigers, despite cheeky teammates hinting he'd be back to face Souths on Friday night.
I know now. Yeah, I do know now. I'll be nice. I'll definitely be nice.
Yeah, he's back. Yeah, he's back.
And Nathan Brown says 2 bans in 4 games won't change his approach. Knights immortal Andrew Johns plotted against his old club with Parramatta today, but Newcastle's new mega star seems oblivious to the Eels' rise to the top.
I'm not too sure where they're sitting on the ladder, but they're, I think they're top 3. Yeah, first. So there you go.
The Roosters have left Boyd Cordner out of Thursday's visit to Townsville. Well, in the middle of a crippling injury crisis, the Swans are turning to youth. Lance Franklin is one of more than half a dozen forwards and ruckmen on the injured list. This is the moment teenagers Dylan Stevens and Chad Warner were told they'll debut against Premiers Richmond on Sunday.
Chad, what do you think about him playing his first game? So happy for him? Well, you want to be happy for yourself because you're playing too, mate. Well done.
The young midfielders were drafted last year, and the Giants will welcome back Callan Ward and Tim Taranto against Port Adelaide on Sunday. The FFA have today been frantically working with the government on an exemption to get the 3 Victorian A-League teams across the border. Players were left stranded at Tullamarine Airport last night when their flight to Canberra was cancelled due to bad weather. All 5 Victorian-based supercars teams hit the road to ensure they aren't left stranded when the border closes at midnight tonight. Tottenham boss Jose Mourinho says seeing 2 of his stars nearly come to blows on the pitch was very positive.
Raised there.
It tells me that they care. That little discussion at half-time for me is a very positive thing.
After winning 1-0, the pair hugged it out, proving the old saying that winning solves everything. A teenage Russian footballer is on life support after being struck by a lightning bolt at training. 16-year-old Ivan Zabrovsky remains in an induced coma. His club, though, says the young goalkeeper is getting better. Well, there's a new top dog in American sport. What about this? Kansas City Chiefs quarterback Patrick Mahomes has agreed to a 10-year contract extension worth an eye-popping $640 million. The reigning Super Bowl MVP could earn more than $720 million over the course of the deal if he can hit bonus targets. It is the richest contract in the history of American sports. No comment, just feel like crying a little bit, Fergo, if I'm honest.
Not a bad contract extension, that one. I'm sure he's more than happy.
Yeah.
Bit of pressure.
He joked he was off to the bank.
Nice. Thank you, Mel.
Thanks.
If you own a caravan or have ever thought of buying one, you can benefit from a new app similar to Airbnb. It means school holidays just got cheaper and there are hundreds of caravans available for less than $100 a day.
Sandy Christensen-Smith has never owned a camper or a caravan, but she's hooked. Instead of buying gear worth tens of thousands of dollars, she's joining friends on holiday for less than $100 a night on share economy platform Camplify.
Literally, you can put in your personal stuff, the food you want to eat, and you're on your way.
It's like Airbnb for RVs.
Trailers, camper vans, motorhomes and caravans, and something for everyone's budget.
Perfect for husband and wife Jordan and Julie Ryan.
It can make you about $10,000 a year.
Before, they only used their caravan 5 times a year. Now they rent it out all year round, starting at $90 a night. They'll throw in everything plus the kitchen sink, barbecue, cooking utensils, salt and pepper, even a bottle of wine in the fridge.
So things like camp chairs, cutlery, all those things are included, gas.
Plus a coffee machine, washing machine, shower and flushing toilet.
We provide everything you need and there's no commitment, no obligation until you actually get a hire.
And if you get into car troubles...
Fully comprehensively insured, full roadside assistance anywhere in Australia.
But keeping the kids entertained is up to you. Georgie Chumley, 7 News.
David is back now with a forecast. Brownie, how long will the showers stick around for?
Oh, a few more hours, Fergo. So far they've been light and generally patchy. Your forecast, that's next. Hello, tonight on the latest from 7 News, Melbourne's lockdown looms. Is there still a risk for other states? The Health Minister Greg Hunt joins me to explain. And race across the border, we're live as residents make a last-minute dash into New South Wales. As it happens during the evening, we'll keep you up to date on every new development. The latest from 7 News at 11.
It's their dream.
Move to Italy.
Yeah.
Oh, we're moving to Italy.
That is amazing!
And we want you to come with us.
And if this is all we have tonight. Would you choose your family or the love of your life?
They want me to move to Italy with them.
I'm not moving to Italy. Are you going?
Home and Away. Next up on 7.
The drought in Queensland and New South Wales right now is one of the worst in our history.
When the Trebins farm hadn't seen much rain in years, Alicia helped arrange finance for vital equipment. And they all saw water for the first time in a long time.
Oh my goodness, that's amazing.
That's the Suncorp spirit.
Welcome to the Johanna Dairy Farm. Today we're going to learn how Johanna pot set yogurt is made. Let's go. We start with fresh milk from our cows. Probably shouldn't do that, boys. Then we pour the milk straight into the pot. Not too close, mate. And we let it set for just the right amount of time to create, thick and creamy, deliciously pure pot set yogurt. Johanna pot set yogurt. If only everything was so pure.
Life is a lot. It's frustrating, awkward, scary, embarrassing, weird, stressful, and complicated. Exactly what AHM isn't. Because when you're sweating the big stuff in life, the last thing you want to worry about is health insurance. AHM, the simple bit.
With delicious chicken chorizo pasta, mouth-watering mushroom risotto and slow-cooked lamb, dining in just got a whole lot easier. Ufood's new winter menu out now. Comfort food worth staying in for.
Head to Macca's if a little treat is what you need and get 6 of our new delicious donut balls for just $3 or 18 chicken McNuggets and 2 large fries for $9.95.
This July, Hyundai has value you'll have to see to believe. Get great value across our range of vehicles, packed with technology, safety and style. And right now, get a special 2.9% finance rate across the Hyundai SUV range. Contact your local Hyundai dealer today for a limited time only.
We know you've always worked hard for your money. In these uncertain economic times, who do you trust to protect your wealth? Invest with La Trobe Financial, Australia's multi-award-winning wealth manager and leading credit specialist. Trusted by Australians for more than 60 years.
Australia's biggest medical study, revealing who will get arthritis and how to take away the pain, exclusively on 7 News at 6 o'clock.
Tonight, 7 News headlines, police and soldiers on the move as New South Wales prepares to close the border at midnight in a mammoth effort to stop the spread of a second COVID wave. Isolated state, millions of Victorians preparing for a return to lockdown from tomorrow night after a record spike of 191 cases. Predictions: the economic impact of the shutdown will be dire, with renewed pressure on the federal government to extend JobKeeper. And police are hunting at least 2 arsonists who smashed their car into a barber shop in Sydney's inner west and set it alight. Now, with the latest on our weather, here's David.
Thanks very much, Fergo. Cold and clear for most of the day, as forecast. Yes, a few showers arrived a short time ago and they're drifting towards the Blue Mountains. After a low of 10.4 degrees, the maximum 17, tapping out at around 3:30 this afternoon. Mid to high teens at best today, as you can see across the Sydney Basin. It's worth noting that the rainfall total so far from these showers moving in, less than a millimetre, but yes, they are contracting towards the Blue Mountains. As we go to the satellite now, we can see the system behind the showery weather. It's the tail end of a weak cold front that's gradually pushing up the coast. As I mentioned, showers, well, so far, most totals less than a millimetre or two. But as we move on to the forecast chart, the thing that stands out is this massive high gradually pushing north tomorrow. In response to that, the airstream tends southeasterly, and we might see some showers impacting parts of the north coast tomorrow and also the adjoining eastern slopes. For the rest of the state, I think we'll see extensive areas of inland morning fog. Melbourne too is in for a foggy morning, then a fine sunny day, light winds and a forecast top somewhere around about 15 degrees. For Brisbane, just the odd shower or two, around 22. Warmer through the tropical north. Clear skies expected in Darwin and a forecast maximum there of around 32 degrees. Back home, some scattered showers, just mainly around the north coast tomorrow, just a few millimetres. Fine and generally sunny elsewhere, apart from those areas of morning fog that should clear by around about mid-morning. A little closer in, well, little change temperature-wise tomorrow, as you can see, maximums around mid-teens at best. Foggy start likely through the western corridor. The winds essentially light and variable across most of the metro area. But as we go to our coastal waters forecast, the wind, in fact, is expected to be a southeast to easterly, but not much in it, up to around 10 knots at best. We'll see smooth seas sitting on top of a moderate southerly swell. For the city, fine, partly cloudy tomorrow, just a gentle breeze and a forecast top there of around 18 degrees. Let's move on to the extended outlook now. Dry and mostly sunny conditions to follow on Thursday after that foggy start in our west. As for Friday, it should be fine, cloud increasing, clearing showers during Saturday morning. Sunday, fine. Rain at times developing during the early part of next week. That's the latest weather, Fergo.
Righto, David, thank you. That is 7 News for this Tuesday. We'll have updates for you throughout the evening. I'm Mark Ferguson from all the team. I hope you have a great night.